Hey there, I'm Sarah Zarella, a portrait and wedding photographer and your host for Wedding Secrets Unveiled. This is a podcast where we cut through the complexity of wedding planning, leaving you with everything you need to know directly from the industry experts. If you want to simplify your wedding planning while having fun, of course, you came to the right place. Join me while I guide you through your planning, starting from your engagement to your big day when you say, I do. After photographing for over 20 years, I am sharing with you tips and tricks to cut through the excess noise. Because I believe from the moment you said yes, your planning experience should be a magical time in your life. Here you'll find episodes that are fun, stress-free, and straight to the point with a fresh, honest take on the reality of what you really need to know about planning your perfect day. Let's dive in. Well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. I'm your host, Sarah Zarella, and you are in for a treat today. This is episode 2 of a 3-part series. So definitely go back, listen to the previous episode that we just launched, and then stay tuned for the next portion of this podcast 3-part series next time. But with this said, we have today Kenney Pharo. She's a sales manager at Pranzi Tents Events, and she's joined by Nunes, who's a senior tent consultant. We are breaking down the rentals portion of Pranzi. We're talking all about all the pretty things to add to your wedding to make it yours and make it unique. So if you are in the stage of planning right now where you're thinking about all of those pretty things that are going to go on your tables, everything from linens to chairs to napkins to silverware, and we even talk about flooring and a little bit of tents, this is the episode for you. Well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. I'm your host, Sarah Zarella, and this is part 2, right? So if you haven't tuned in to our previous episodes, stop. Go back and listen or watch, because we're on YouTube right now, of our previous episode. But we now have for part 2, Matt and Megan back on air. And we are talking a little bit about a whole other subject, because you're going to learn really quickly that what they do is a whole bunch of everything you need.
One-stop shop.
One-stop shop. But with that said, for our listeners, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Sure. So my name is Kenney Pharo. I am the sales manager for Pranzi Tents and Events. I have about 20 years hospitality experience, food and beverage, a little bit of everything. And I recently joined the Pranzi Tents and Events team after being a client of theirs for about 3 years and working with this gentleman next to me. He really kind of pulled me in a great way. And I'm so happy to be here. And this is my colleague and teammate, Nunes.
Thanks, Megan. And I'm Matt Nunes. I'm also at Pranzi Tents and Events. The given name of the company is Pranzi Rentals, Inc. And so in addition to tents, which picking up on your comment just a minute ago, Sarah, that was a lot of the previous segment. Part 1 was about that. So I felt as though I had a lot to say there.
Yes.
And now we're going to shift a little bit to the rentals component and everything under the tent in terms of decor and china and dish and a lot of the flatware and linens and everything that goes along with that. So that's where I rely heavily on Megan for that component. And again, being a little generation apart, maybe 2 generations apart, I've got to have somebody a little bit closer to those brides in terms of being able to share their vision and things like that for all the components under the tent.
And so for our listeners and our viewers, if you are getting married in a tent or thinking about getting married in a tent, this is definitely the episode for you. But because we are talking about rentals, even if you're not getting married in a tent, this would also pertain to you, right? Because Pranzi obviously has a whole entire rental division. So this is definitely something that you have to think about if you're underneath a tent, because the great thing about a tent is it's a blank canvas, right? So you can customize it however you want. But also, too, if you're not in a tent and you just want to give your wedding a little bit more of a unique flair, rentals can go anywhere.
Anywhere. And that's the exciting part about it. I had the honor of being the sales manager at the Newport Mansions and spent most of my time at Rosecliff
Hmm.
and had seen some beautiful designs from planners and florists and photos from photographers as
Hmm.
yourself. And it inspired me. And I said, I want to be part of it. I want to be part of the creative process. And Pranzi has allowed me and welcomed me to do that. And I get to meet with our clients in our awesome showroom in West Warwick, where we have a design studio full of linens and napkins and flatware and china and all of the things that really make your wedding yours. And when people walk into your venue or your tent or wherever you decide is right for you, we want people to say, that's so them.
Mm.
They would have that. Or "Ah, she loves butterflies. Her room when she was a kid, she was obsessed with them. So she would have this beautiful bread and butter plate with butterflies on it." And it just personalizes and takes that guest experience to that next level where everyone feels connected to you, because that's really what they want. And rentals are things that are pretty. They are also things that are needed, whether it is the equipment for your caterers or heaters and all of those things. So it's a really big laundry list of things, whether, like Sarah said, whether you're in a tent or at a venue, that are needed. And you get to come and pick what catches your eye and what's important to you.
And as we were talking, Meg, for the for the listeners that obviously this is something that's really special and very overwhelming about what you're going to
Yes.
do to create in your space. There's certain spaces that lend itself to a type of decor or don't need certain decor. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is I am sure you experience this
Yeah.
working at Rosecliff. Rosecliff is a Gilded Age venue that has a lot to it. It doesn't need a lot, or most people go in a certain color range or a certain rental range because the room is kind of already setting the
The
tone.
tone.
The tone.
Right.
So I'm sure for you, for working there for so long, you've saw a lot
Hmm.
of sort of the same thing. I'm not trying to say that, but sort of
Yeah.
um,
Style.
style because it lends itself, right?
Hmm.
It is what it is. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful venue. But now that you are on the Pranzi side and a side where you can create from scratch or you go to different areas and venues and or create from the ground up with a tent with Matt, there's that
Things I
so
didn't
much
even
more.
know,
So
right?
much more.
I had been a client of Pranzi's and things I just didn't know,
No.
because you're right. I was kind of in this specific style, and what I saw was a lot of beautiful, let's call it blush and ivories and blue and white hydrangeas. And that's very Newport and it's stunning. But I've also learned that that's not everyone's style. So to know that what you're looking for is achievable no matter what that is, and we're just here to guide you and help you with that. And what I love about Pranzi and the way that we host our showroom appointments and consultations is we want to be the best listener, because that's how we're really going to connect with you and figure out what you're looking
Hmm.
for in your day. And it's so funny, you talk with somebody and they come in and they're like, beeline to the glassware. That is like their hot button. Or you meet with someone and they come with a whole setup of swatches and it's a color palette or it's a texture or a pattern of a linen that they saw. And it's really fun to see what everyone's thing is.
Hmm.
I got married, Sarah was there, and I wanted an upgraded water glass. I wanted something special, and that was what connected with me. So for somebody, it's going to be a napkin or a linen, and we're here to help you on that journey. And it can be overwhelming. There's so many options, and there's so many beautiful photos out there, and it's really important to tune out all the outside noise and figure out what's important to you and your partner, and what do you want to walk into the space or venue, tent, anything, and see what do you want to feel. And that's what we want to help you achieve at
Hmm.
Pranzi.
So
Yeah.
it's like so much. Like
I
just
know.
even talking about it, it's overwhelming. So I can only
Right.
imagine how you all are feeling, right? Like you got the ring, you said yes, or you know someone who said yes. You might be a mom or a dad listening. Trust me, we have dads that listen, FYI, just so you
I
guys know,
love that.
okay? And when you were talking, like, how do we even sum this up in one episode? Like,
I
it's
know.
so hard to even talk about it. But let's start with the showroom,
Yep.
okay?
Let's start with the show.
So at Pranzi,
Yep.
you walk in, and
Mhm.
you mentioned that people beeline it to the glassware.
Yeah.
So talk to us about, like, where does somebody even, so on the previous episode, we talked a little bit about tents, right?
Yeah.
So now they shed the lay of the land for tents,
Yeah.
all right? So let's just pretend that we're in a tent and it's empty. What do we do, Meg?
Yeah. Well, we got to talk about the bottom first, right? Let's
Okay.
build from the bottom.
Okay.
So are we full?
I got to get my water for
right.
this.
Are we full floor? And
Mm.
some properties are going to.
Oh gosh, floors. We haven't
I
even
know.
thought about. I
Floor.
want to get to the table.
I know.
I want to get to that china over there.
What's on the bottom?
Okay.
So we're
So
doing.
talk to me
and
about
we're
that.
doing fun
The floor
things.
plan is where it's going to start
Right.
too.
Okay, so
'Cause
talk to me about
square
this.
footage.
What do
Yeah.
I need? I have this ring. I'm excited. I have to think about flooring.
Yeah.
Well, you have to think about the dance floor, the orientation, right? Where on the last episode, we got into the golden ratio and we've worked out the tent size, the style, and where it's going to be, and all of
Okay.
those components. So now that piece is done. Now it's how is the unfolding of the reception going to happen? Where are you going to enter from? Where is the dance floor going to be? Where is the head table? How many people are at the head table? All of these components and decisions begin to come into now, how am I going to design this space and orient it? Oh, we want to be looking at the water. We want our backs to the water. We want to be the dance floor here at this end because this is the best view, and and so all of these things continue the unfolding. Now, when you get into, okay, all of that's been designed, now I want to get into the decor. What am I going to use for a table? Am I going to use a farm with a runner and florals and that kind of style? Or am I going to use a linen? The linen spectrum can go from solids to, and
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like picking up on all of this because I get to be an observer when the showroom appointments happen. I just kind of step out of the way and allow Megan to take it, but it's like it's part of that story and being engaged with the client and listening to them and then translating, trying to take all of these options, whether it's glass, whether it's high-end
Mhm.
glass, or like Megan said, maybe somebody says, you know what, I just want to upgrade my signature cocktail glass. I want it to be a certain color and I want it to be a certain shape. And that's the most important thing that can happen in terms of the glassware. Everything else I could care less about.
And that
And then,
happens.
yeah.
But let's pretend that I'm not that person, and I want the whole thing. So
Yeah.
what? So now we're at the ground.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are we doing? Because we got the floor plan. So we figured out the tent. We figured out where we're going to exit and enter. We had the floor plan. What's happening underneath me now?
Right. And sometimes it's grass, which is
Okay.
great. And then we're putting a dance floor, and you're seeing these beautiful photos and this trend of either checkered. So black,
Yeah.
we offer black and white. We're
Mhm.
doing white and oak, and we're doing custom decals,
Yes,
right?
the
And
decals are huge right now.
the what do we they're completely covered, right, with
Yes.
patterns or designs.
Yep.
And I met with someone and they said, this is my invitation and I would like to have it
On the
replicated
da- on
on the
the-
floor.
So just so that for the listeners know what we're talking about, decals is like literally the entire
Wrap.
floor, like mostly the dance floor is what I've seen, but
Mhm.
it is a color. It is literally a pattern or a color. Yeah. So it elevates your space, right, for uniqueness. So then once we get to the floor, where we go from there?
Tables.
Okay.
So we
This kind of goes back to what we were talking about the last episode, because tables takes up the square footage,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
That's where you get with the guest count, but tables, yes.
and we want to think about who your guests are, right? And we'll start with a ballpark because you're not going to know who exactly is coming at that time when
Mhm.
we're starting in the showroom and the design aspect. But are we at rounds? Are we at rounds and longs? Are we at squares? And really thinking about the best use of space for your guests.
Okay.
And a head table is awesome if it works for you. I have seen no bridal party. I've seen 2. I've seen 30. So it really depends. And that's, building on that conversation. So we've decided, okay, Sarah, you're going to do a mix of rounds and longs. Okay. Are we linen? Yeah, sounds like you're going linen. So we're talking color, right? And there's no such thing as it's either this or this, right? We're in shades of colors now when it comes to florals and bridesmaid dresses and time of year and all those things. So we're working on that. I personally like to start with the linen and the color palette.
Okay.
I think everything once in our showroom, you come in and we have 2, we call them kind of display tables. They're blank. You come in and they have ivory linen on them because I don't want
Because
to
you're going to
assume,
build. You're
right?
going to
I don't
build
want to
on it.
assume that I know,
Yes.
even though I've seen your design board
Yeah.
and we've had conversations, I don't want to assume what a client's looking for. And we have redesigned the showroom to have everyone feel really comfortable to be able to go and walk and touch and feel and see.
So it's funny you just said that word comfortable because I was putting myself in your shoes, and that means the listeners, and I was feeling, I had to take a sip of my water. I was like, oh, I'm so stressed out. Where do we start? And already listening to you, I'm feeling like, oh, I got this. You broke it down. We got the floor. We got the
Yeah.
tables. Now we're at, we figured out the color palette of the
Mhm.
linens. Like, already I'm like, oh, it's bite size. I got this. And it's a
Exactly.
one-stop shop.
Mhm.
Okay. So now I feel at ease. Like now I'm starting to see my vision. I see my table. I see my linens. I see my color. Are we at the place where I walked in yet? Are we at the China now?
Yes. And I personally tend to either talk with your planner or get an idea of your catering and your menu and really kind of know with a food and beverage background what's needed, right? Because I'm not
Mhm.
going to sell you a bowl if you're not having soup,
Right.
right? That doesn't make sense. So
Right.
we're really kind of targeting exactly what you need. So now we're at China,
Okay.
right? And China, this is where I am like wowed. The prints and the designs and the shapes and the styles are incredible. And so we have this beautiful linen. We're putting this beautiful charger plate. Side note, I will say this, and every planner and caterer who has ever talked to me or client who's ever
I
walked
think I know what
through
you're about to say.
Rosecliff, please, 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 if you are at a 60-inch round, know that you need a dinner size plate as your charger. You cannot fit 10 people with a 12 or
Yeah.
13-inch charger. I've had this conversation so many times. Just don't.
That's
Don't.
actually not what I thought you were going to say, but I'm going to add another tip. So listen, it pays to listen, right?
Mhm.
Oh gosh, I hope you guys are not going to be upset that I'm saying this. Be careful of the type of charger
Yep.
that you are picking if you have a certain plate on it. Clink, 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 clink,
Mhm.
all throughout the reception.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is people are eating and the charger's hitting the plate.
Mhm.
If it's a hard charger
Yep.
with a hard plate. Yeah.
And that's the rhythm and the caterers to, know when the moment for a charger to make its exit
Mm-hmm.
comes into play
Mhm.
too. And we talk about things where are you starting with a preset salad? And sometimes at a larger guest count, that's really, really helpful to keep things moving along. And, Sarah, I know you are a timeline wizard and all of those things and know how important that is to keep that smooth timeline going and service. So those are things
Yes.
that even though it doesn't sound like it would be something that you would talk about at Pranzi Tents and Events and rentals,
Yeah.
it is in the back of my mind. I am thinking about all of those things and how that plays out for you. And it's the same thing on the backside of once you pick all of the items, I'm sitting with your planner and caterer being like, okay, well, we need a couple extra napkins because who hasn't been somewhere and you've dropped your napkin on the floor and you're like, oh, and now I'm going to wipe my face.
Mhm.
So, but no, your caterer is going to come to the rescue because Pranzi Tents and Events sent extra napkins.
Right.
all
Right.
of all of those things. So it's we're at the China. You've picked this beautiful charger. We're going to do a preset salad, and we've picked out your silverware, right? And is it gold? Is it silver? Is it silver plated? All of the things. We're at glassware, right? And again, is it colored? Is it not? Is it upgraded? Is it not? You don't have to upgrade everything, right? That's it. Big news. You
Yeah.
don't have to upgrade everything. And from a sales standpoint, that sounds crazy, but we want what you want. And I'm here to show you options and again, make you feel comfortable in the space. And we've set these 2 beautiful example tables. and you're sitting back and you're taking pictures and you're looking back at your inspo, and then you're going to think about it, right? There's no pressure. And sometimes I get a call a couple days later and you're like, you know what? I really want to go with this one. Or I decided that we're going to change this out and not go with this. Or, the guest count grew and the budget's getting a little high. So we're going to go with the stainless steel silverware. And guys, the food's going to taste great. It's going to be awesome. So,
Yeah.
right. We're here to guide you and show you options. And I've also been in showroom appointments where we just need to walk away for a minute too. And that's okay. And I know family members and friends that have done that with wedding dresses. It's so common. You go to a bridal studio, you try on a bunch of dresses, you're super overwhelmed, and you walk away with nothing. And that's okay, because you go back. You're not getting married in a dress.
Yeah.
So, or whatever you're looking to.
And you wait to see what resonates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wait
And
to see
that's
what resonates.
the
Yes.
important of the process, right? Trust it, feel it out. If it feels like it's too much, sometimes we spend the entire appointment on linens and we have to regroup to get the china, glassware, and silverware. So, and that's okay. There's time. There's
Right.
time for all of this. And
And options.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Options.
for you, right?
Mhm.
What's right for you might not be right for the next client or the next bride. And what you saw online might not be what you end up picking in the studio. And that's okay
Right.
too. That's always my favorite. You're like, oh, I thought I liked this, but then I saw that. I'm like, trust your gut.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
And again, you're not getting married tomorrow, right? No one's coming to our showroom 2 weeks before and picking out their stuff, right? So we have time to let it sit. And sometimes we get a call and we decided that we are going to do the head table. And then we redesign a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. It's a very fluid process. That's the beauty of it. And there is a little difference when you're in a tent and you have the ability to go to a bigger size to accommodate those changes, or a venue. And that's where we trust your venue manager and your planner and your vendors to guide you in that process.
But it's also too really exciting because when you leave your showroom, it's kind of, I'm sure, just really exciting to start crossing things off the list and start seeing your vision, and then you can be like you see
It's real.
It's real. It's
You're
real.
getting
It's real.
married,
Yes,
right?
yes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break, and then when
Yeah.
we come back, I would love to talk about trends.
Sure.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, we'll be right back.
Awesome.
I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you like what you're hearing, I encourage you to check out our website at sarahzarella.com. And don't forget, you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. And I would so appreciate if you left a fabulous review on Apple Podcast. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support. And now, let's get back to the episode. Welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. So before the break, we were breaking down episode 2, right? So
Yeah.
episode 1 was with Matt. Episode 2, it's more with you, Megan, because this is your side of the team, the coin. A little bit about rentals and just bringing the custom element to your venue or tent, right? But I did give a cliffhanger, and I know you all are listening being like, well, what's the trends? I want to know. But before we get into that, Matt, you brought up a good point on the break. You said we really need to talk a little bit about price.
Yeah.
Like all this fun stuff, Meg, that you were talking about.
It adds
Sounds
up.
great. And I have 2 tables I'm looking at, and I'm like, I'm going to walk away and I'm going to see what resonates with me. But one table could be one price and one table could be another price.
Right.
So for the listeners, to not overwhelm them, because we want them to come into your showroom, and obviously when you're there, you'll coach them through all of this. But I think it's important for someone who hasn't even started this journey, when they hear like a fork or an upgraded glassware, what is happening with this price tag?
Right. And we talked about social media in part 1, and that carries through to this one as well. So you see all these beautiful photos, you have no idea what it costs. And for us on our end, we want to have you as comfortable as possible. And a lot of that level of comfort is with budget and open communication. transparency. I
Mm.
want to know where you need to be, want to be, and what your priorities are so that I'm not showing you a $33 chair, which is our top chair and it's beautiful. Um,
What chair is that?
it is our rattan Louis. It's so pretty, but I didn't have that at my wedding.
I'm Googling it.
I know. I didn't have that at my wedding. It was not in my budget. So I get it. It is, what does Planet Fitness say? A no judgment zone.
Yeah.
That's where we are
Oh.
when we come to the showroom.
That's pretty. You guys have to go Google it or go to Pranzi's showroom.
Yeah, it is really
Can-
pretty.
maybe
And
maybe the sweetheart table
that's
could
what
have
it
that.
right. And that was kind of talking into, and it ties into both budgets and trends, is there are great ways to upgrade sweetheart tables, head tables, elements of like a pops on a cake table linen
Mhm.
instead of 20 round linens at that upgraded price. We're really focusing on, every other and all of those ways. And I love to be able to guide clients and in that aspect, but I can only do that if we are on the same page
Mm.
when it comes to numbers. And I want to know what you love. I want to know what doesn't resonate with you. And I always tell people, you're never going to hurt my feelings. I didn't make these linens. So feel free to be like, no. I had someone look at me and was like, stay away from red. As we're walking around, we get to like the reds and the pinks. She's like, no, keep going. Not my style. And that's okay
I
too.
think that's great though to like for the listener, like if this is very overwhelming with you, it's not obviously when you walk in and talk with Meg and meet with Meg, but I think it's okay to know what you don't want just as much as to what you want.
Sometimes it's even more important, and that
Mhm.
helps us narrow down because initially you will know what you don't like. It's a feeling, right?
Mhm.
It's a gut feeling when you walk in. You're like, nope. I had someone say, I don't like any shine. I don't want anything shiny. Not my style, not my feel. Stay away from anything that has a glitter or anything. So I knew matte satin, not your style. And that's great. So those are good things for us to know to help us move closer and closer to your custom style, your custom design.
So what are we looking at? Let's just take price wise, right? Because
Yep.
that's a whole other conversation, and
Yes.
that's something that as a listener you just truly have to talk with Meg about. But going off of what Matt was saying in the break, let's just take one item. Let's just give them an understanding of what one item can do to their budget.
So before you get to our pricing and what we're offering, you want to also talk with your caterer or your venue who is kind of leading the charge on your food and beverage, because we have different packages and relationships and things with different vendors. So what is standard at one venue might be different from standard at another. So when you pick your venue, you are usually going to be guided to your caterer next. And we have Pranzi Catering and Blackstone and Morin's and all these really great teams in our area. And they're all a little different and unique in their own way. And you're going to get a price from them on food and beverage. That's also going to have a line item that says tableware. So that's going to be the standard. So we talked with them and we decided that this beautiful white plate and this stainless steel silverware are going to be our set. Okay. So they're going to have their price on that. So then you're going to come to the showroom and you're going to see timeless. We were talking about trends. So the timeless glassware is stunning. As a photographer, I'm sure you've seen it reflect the light and all the beautiful things. I got to tell you, every time I pick it up, I feel fancy. I'm like, I should drink my juice out of this in the morning to start my day on the right foot. But it's going to have a bigger price tag. So it's not going to be in your package, and it's going to be, and again, it's going to vary on style and all of those things. Is it $1 extra? Is it $2 extra? And is it water glass and champagne and wine? So then that's three. If it's $1 a piece, right? You're $3 at each place setting. So we learned in the first episode, I wasn't good with a calculator, but numbers off the top of my
But that's
head,
the point.
right?
It's that you're dealing with, like, let's just say $1 to $3, but multiples per place setting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that just gives a little bite size of like
Right.
what we're doing. And that is just for one item of a rental. We're not
Right.
talking about the linen. We're not talking about the napkin. We're not like the fork, it's the
Mhm.
chairs.
Yeah.
Like so that is what you're dealing with all of these. And that's why you said earlier, You don't have to upgrade everything. Or if you have a great budget, go for it, girl.
Right. I love
Or,
that for you
like,
and me.
yeah. So there's
Us.
that. Okay. So now before the wrap up, let's break it down for trends.
Trends. Okay. So we'll do the same way. So let's start at the bottom. The checkered dance floor we talked about, and the wrap and the customization of the dance floor is always really cool, and an option that we're seeing. The long head table has been around for a minute. So we call them Tuscan tables. They are
Mhm.
42 inches wide, which allows you to put a guest on each side and then a beautiful runner and allow room for plates and glassware and all of those things. We are starting to see the SERP tables come into play with those longer kind of like zigzaggy movement, which
That's
is
short
really
for
cool.
serpentine.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, okay. Thank you. Because I
Yeah.
was wondering, like, where
Just in
did that
case.
name come from?
Serp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
The
starting to become,
curvature, the
yes,
zigzags. People have all seen them if they're getting married right now. It's on trend.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful.
To be honest with you, so trends are interesting because everything comes around, right?
Yep.
This was definitely popular in the
Mhm.
80s.
Yes.
Definitely.
Well, the same thing with the long head table. So
Yeah.
it
Yep.
is so interesting. And what I love when I get to do an appointment with a couple or a bride and her mom or parents or aunts or anything like that is to hear what they did.
Mhm.
And I had the pleasure of actually, while at Rosecliff, doing a wedding for a bride whose parents actually did a couple whose parents got married at Rosecliff, and to hear the trends. And they call it a king's table,
That's
and my
cute.
parents did it, and you
Yeah.
sat up front, and it's like you were kind of on a little platform and all the things. It's come a long way, but it's coming back around. And again, it is a trend, meaning you see a lot of photos of it, but don't feel like it has to be what you have, because it doesn't work for everybody.
No.
And, the head table can be your family, it can be your bridal party, all of these things. Table shape, size, and different layout is definitely a really big trend that we're seeing. And, Matt touched on layouts
Yeah.
and what that looks like.
And I also, too, like, we're only talking about trend because it's fun to talk about it. It's fun to see, it's fun to view, but there is a reason why it's a trend.
Yep.
Because it's going to come in, it's going to come out, and it's also going to be a trend. Like, you're going to be able to know about what year you got married because you had that black and white checkered floor. Like that, there's
The
some
color palette,
the
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I guess my point, what I'm trying to say is, what type of person are you? Are you a trend setter? So, like, go for it, trend it up. But are you somebody that, like, appreciates and be like, I still want to be classic, because there's nothing wrong with that, because that will never go
Right.
out.
And that ties into when you come to the design studio, you're really going to see if you like color or you do not. And that is probably the first thing that I can gauge from somebody is we are feeling the color and pattern or we are not. That clean, neutral, whether it's white and ivory and kind of gold or champagne, or those pops of black, that more, let's call it traditional classic look, or we're peppering in color. And we are just one stop along the design journey. And sometimes I look at this beautiful ivory linen, and everything is very clean, but then I see photos from the wedding and it's like, whoa, florals, hey girl, showed up with a vibe, and that was their moment. So you can kind of play around with all these moving pieces. We're with the table, we're going to set this foundation and you're going to build on it, and there's so many different things that we can add to your tablescape that can give it its personality and its vibe. Your florist is going to do that, your planner or whoever's doing your stationery is going to help with that too. And it really, the biggest thing, whether it's on trend or not, is tying it all together. And Matt and I use the word intentional a lot, and it means something to us because we want everything to feel intentional. And you talked about entry, right? Where is the entry to your tent or your venue? What is the first impression? And what are guests feeling, and what are they walking into? Like, maybe we don't put a table right in the entryway, so everyone has to like swerve around and all of those things. And the trend that you see online, keep in mind too, might not work in your space. So we are here to assist, and Pranzi, what we love to do is take this photo, this little snapshot of what caught your attention, and customize it to you and your space. Because of course, two people getting married, but we also want to incorporate your space and your venue so that it all feels on purpose.
And intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intentional.
I'll
Yes.
just jump in. I want to jump back just a shade to budget a little bit. And the same way that we kind of broke the tent into categories and the flooring into categories, you have that same component with the tabletop and the decor and everything like that. If you think about flatware, china, linens, glassware,
Okay.
all right, all of those are going to be on the table. And so,
Literally.
yeah.
Yeah. In front of you.
Figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
But so if you prioritize one over the other, say, I want the timeless, I'm going to have table wine, I want a champagne toast, right? These are my 3 key items. I don't have the budget for the upgrades in the other area, then that's fine. Then you begin to work off of that in terms of how do we get trend like conscious elements on a budget. Because it all comes back to, at the end of the day, maybe somebody doesn't just have the ability to come in and let it rip and just be like, I want that, like I want one of these, and money is no object.
I mean, most people don't. So that's the reality.
I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, you're speaking to the mass. Like most people who are listening, we hear you. Like you don't have it. Like just let it rip and point, this, put this in my cart. Let's go. You really have to make some decisions. Yeah.
And we're here to guide you on that, right?
Yeah.
There's no pressure. That's the underlying tone of coming in and meeting with us at Pranzi and in the showroom is we want you to feel comfortable to talk to us and share with us where you're at budget wise. And we're also going to figure out what your venue has, right? Do they have chairs? What are their chairs? Okay, maybe upgrading a chair isn't the right vibe for you. And that doesn't make sense in the budget and all of those details. And we are listening to help you get to that spot, because the stress of the budget aspect of a wedding and all the couples, family, friends that I know it's a real thing, right? Yes. And you're in your Excel sheet. Everybody's got one, whether your planner's doing it for you or you're doing it on the side. The numbers and the dollars add up and they matter. And we want to help you in that process and alleviate that stress, because again, your wedding's going to be beautiful. The room is going to catch everyone off guard and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, and all of the things. And finding out what really, like you said, the glassware, that was my thing. I don't know. I couldn't even give you a reason why, but that was what it was for me. And knowing that, Matt broke it apart so elegantly is that's how we look at it. That's how I build a design. That's how we build in a budget, right? Piece by piece. And we said this the other day by day, hour by hour, all of those things, right?
So what we're going to do, over the break, I convinced them to do part 3 hat trick. So we're going to do a wrap up. And then for our listeners, if you haven't listened to segment 1, go now and listen to about tents. And then if you like segment 2, we're going to have segment 3 in a couple weeks coming at you, where Pranzi is a full umbrella. So they also do catering, right?
Yeah.
It's a one-stop shop. So there's a lot of stories that comes with working with Pranzi, because they go to different venues, different locations, whether it be a tent or a venue, whether it be rentals, tent, catering. There's a lot of stories. So we're going to talk a little bit about rapid fire stories, right? So that's okay. And then give a lot
secrets.
Unveiled.
I keep thinking about that title and feeling such pressure. I'm like, I can't throw anyone under the bus.
But we are. So if you are ready to get like the skinny and you really want to unveil all the secrets, cliffhanger, stay tuned to the next one. We're going to put you in the hot seat. We're unveiling it, and I'm putting the hot seat. You're throwing people underneath the bus. We're just not throwing names out there. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So that's what we're going to do for segment 3, but that's not until a couple weeks now. So in that, though, for rentals, for our wrap-up question, I'm going to give this to you, Meg.
Sure.
All right. Since, Matt, you've answered the other wrap-up question last segment.
Perfect.
When thinking about rentals, okay, what are some key points that our listeners should be asking their rental company to make sure that they are working with a professional company that will make their day an absolutely perfect day?
Sure. So I think one of the biggest things is when you send, and we talked about this with the tents too, when you're sending an inquiry through and you're just getting back an order, that to me is a red flag, right? That says, I took what you said at face value, what you typed in the computer, you pulled it off our website, we're just going to push it out to you. And you should want more than that. You deserve more than that. We want every client that we talk to, if it fits into your timeline and your schedule and all those things, to come into the showroom and feel and touch and sit on our chairs and know the product that we're offering. One of the big reasons I came to Pranzi is I know the quality of what we're offering, and that really matters. I have worked with clients who have ordered something on a website and it has shown up, and what's that website, Temu?
Yes.
Where people are doing those things where, like, I ordered a chair and a couch and it came and it's like a Barbie doll size, right? Like, that's not what we want to happen to you. That's not going to happen to you at Pranzi. But coming into a showroom and physically seeing and touching things is really, really important. Talking to a person online who is listening, who is going to guide you, who is going to say, okay, I hear what you're saying, maybe this, not this, that kind of thing. And then incorporating your venue space or your tent into it, the knowledge of where you're going to be, because it is so different. Every venue is going to have its own restrictions. So just because a company that you're talking to, I mean, it's impossible. Obviously, Pranzi hasn't worked everywhere in New England. We haven't. We would like to, right? We would like to. Call us. But we go out. We're going to schedule a meeting, and sometimes the clients aren't even there. We're just sidebarring with the venue manager, the GM, or whoever that is, and understanding, doing our homework. So you want to have someone that is experienced and knowledgeable and looking out for your best interests. And it's the same thing with every vendor, right? If you just get a response back from your online inquiry, that to me is concerning.
Fair.
In this element.
In this element. I was literally going to say, like, there is so much going on with your tent and rental and catering company. So much. That's like the heart, right? Yeah. So like it really needs to be like I think it's a running theme for both episodes was like a little bit more intentional customization, right? So with that said, I want to thank you both for joining me on this episode of Wedding Secrets Unveiled. You helped our listeners become one step closer to their stress-free wedding planning process. You can catch us on Sarah Zarella Photography YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram now with Wedding Secrets Unveiled. I've had that Instagram for 5 years and I've just never done anything with it, but now we are. So give us a like, follow. But with that said, if you can tell us, our listeners, where they could find you.
Sure. So you can visit us online or Instagram or give us a call.
Yeah.
However, everyone's style is different. So whatever works for you, we want to be there ready and willing.
And your website?
PranziTents.com.
PranziTents.com.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, I will have Pranzi's information in our show notes, which you can find on our blog, which is at Sarah Zarella /wedding podcast. So thank you so much, guys.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Really
all right, you have to tune in to the third and final episode. Couple weeks. Thank you for listening to Wedding Secrets Unveiled. I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, I want to tell you something. I encourage you to check out our website at sarahzarella.com. We love photographing while having fun, of course. Check out our podcast page on our website for our show notes along with upcoming episodes with your local wedding experts. Listen in as we help you plan your epic event. And don't forget that you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening so you never miss an episode. I would so appreciate if you left a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support and let us know what you think. If you know any wedding experts that would like to be a guest, we have a link directly on our website where they can let us know. Thank you for listening.